Scotty Bowman won 9 Stanley Cups as a head coach. Mike Keenan racked up 672 wins over his career, and Barry Trotz was undeniable as the most influential defensive mind ever. But there is also some coaches who completely ruined their reputation, going from legendary player to coach. Can you guess who it is? These are the 15 best NHL coaches in history, and the 3 worst. 15. Mike Keenan, the ultimate chaos coach. Mike Keenan was one of the most unpredictable and controversial figures in NHL history, yet he always found ways to win. He coached 8 different teams over 3 decades, racking up 672 wins and leaving a trail of both success and player frustration. Keenan was a strict, often confrontational leader, frequently clashing with his players and even front office executives. However, his coaching methods, while abrasive, were effective. His crowning achievement came in 1994 when he led the New York Rangers to their first Stanley Cup in 54 years, breaking one of the most famous curses in hockey. That alone cements his place in NHL history. His aggressive and demanding coaching style earned him a Jack Adams Award for Coach of the Year, proving that he knew how to extract the best from his teams. While his ability to sustain long-term success was questionable, evidenced by his frequent job changes, Keenan's ability to win in high-pressure situations cannot be denied. He remains one of the most polarizing figures in NHL coaching history, a true example of coaching chaos that delivered results. 14. Paul Maurice, the Iron Man of NHL coaching. Paul Maurice has proven to be one of the most resilient and adaptable coaches in NHL history. His journey began at just 28 years old, making him one of the youngest head coaches in NHL history when he took over the Hartford Whalers in 1995. Since then, he has amassed a record number of games coached, second only to the legendary Scotty Bowman. Maurice has held the reins of 4 different franchises: the Carolina Hurricanes, Toronto Maple Leafs, Winnipeg Jets, and Florida Panthers, each time finding ways to make them competitive. His teams have made multiple deep playoff runs, including 2 Stanley Cup final appearances, showcasing his ability to keep teams in contention despite roster changes. While he has yet to win the Stanley Cup, Maurice is a master at elevating struggling teams and keeping them competitive for the long haul. His longevity, in an era where coaching turnover is at an all-time high, speaks to his brilliant hockey mind and leadership abilities. With over 1,800 games coached, Maurice is a testament to consistency, adaptability, and coaching intelligence in modern hockey. 13. Jon Tortorella, the no-nonsense drill sergeant. Jon Tortorella is one of the most polarizing coaches in NHL history, known for his fiery temper, aggressive tactics, and legendary press conference sound bites. But behind his confrontational demeanor is an elite coach with a proven track record of success. Trotz has won over 730 games in his career, leading multiple teams, including the Tampa Bay Lightning, New York Rangers, Vancouver Canucks, Columbus Blue Jackets, and Philadelphia Flyers. His greatest achievement came in 2004, when he led the Tampa Bay Lightning to their first ever Stanley Cup, proving that his defensive-heavy, hard-nosed coaching style could win championships. Tortorella is a 2-time Jack Adams Award winner, solidifying his place among the NHL's greatest bench bosses. While his coaching methods often divide opinions, some players love him, while others clash with his intensity, one thing remains true: his teams always compete. He expects maximum effort and discipline, which has helped even struggling teams outperform expectations. Tortz's ability to instill a winning mentality, demand accountability, and push players beyond their limits makes him one of the most respected and talked about coaches in NHL history. 12. Mike Babcock, the tactical perfectionist. Mike Babcock was once considered the gold standard of NHL coaching, known for his meticulous game planning and ability to build structured, disciplined teams. With over 700 career wins, he remains one of the winningest coaches in NHL history. His resume includes 3 Stanley Cup final appearances, with his pinnacle achievement being the 2008 Stanley Cup championship with the Detroit Red Wings. His defensive structures and ability to maximize team depth made him one of the most sought-after coaches for years. Beyond the NHL, Babcock's international coaching dominance further cements his legacy. He guided Team Canada to Olympic gold in 2010 and 2014, proving he could manage elite talent under pressure. However, his reputation took a hit later in his career due to reported player mistreatment and mental manipulation tactics, leading to his dismissal from the Toronto Maple Leafs and a controversial short-lived return with Columbus. Despite this, his tactical genius, ability to implement structured systems, and overall success make him one of the most impactful coaches in hockey history. While his leadership methods remain a hot debate, his on-ice coaching record is undeniable. 11. Daryl Sutter, the Grit King. Daryl Sutter is the definition of an old-school, no-nonsense coach who demands toughness and accountability from his players. Coming from the legendary Sutter hockey family, he developed a reputation as a gritty, defensive-minded strategist who could transform teams into championship contenders. Sutter's impact was most felt with the Los Angeles Kings, where he led them to 2 Stanley Cups in 2012 and 2014, cementing their place as one of the NHL's most dominant teams of the decade. His ability to get the most out of his players, especially in the postseason, made him one of the most respected figures in coaching. Over a career spanning 3 decades, he racked up 737 career wins and won a Jack Adams Award, proving his coaching ability across multiple eras. His systems weren't always pretty. They were defensive, grinding, and physical, but they worked. While his demanding style wasn't for everyone, his ability to build championship teams and instill mental toughness in his players makes him one of the best defensive minds in NHL history. 10. Peter Laviolette, the franchise fixer. Peter Laviolette is the ultimate team revitalizer, a coach who consistently turns struggling franchises into contenders. With nearly 800 career wins, he holds the record as the winningest American-born NHL coach. His biggest accomplishment came in 2006 when he led the Carolina Hurricanes to their first ever Stanley Cup, proving his ability to build a team from the ground up. His fast-paced, aggressive offensive systems have made him a perfect fit for multiple organizations, including the Predators, Flyers, Islanders, Capitals, and now the Rangers. Laviolette's strength lies in his ability to adapt. Whether it's rebuilding a young team or fine-tuning a roster for a deep playoff run, he's taken 3 different teams to the Stanley Cup Final, a testament to his incredible coaching versatility. Players respect his straightforward approach, ability to develop young talent, and knack for in-game adjustments. He's not just a coach, he's a franchise turnaround specialist. Wherever Laviolette goes, winning follows. And that's what makes him one of the most impactful NHL coaches of the modern era. 9. Ken Hitchcock, the defensive mastermind. Ken Hitchcock was a defensive guru, known for turning teams into defensively structured, disciplined machines. His coaching philosophy was built on tight checking systems, relentless back-checking, and suffocating defensive coverage, making him one of the most respected minds in hockey. With 849 career wins, Hitchcock ranks among the NHL's coaching elite. His greatest success came in 1999, when he led the Dallas Stars to a Stanley Cup victory built around his signature defensive style and legendary goaltending from Ed Belfour. His ability to get teams to buy into his system helped him win a Jack Adams Award and coach 5 different NHL teams, including the Stars, Flyers, Blue Jackets, Blues, and Oilers. Hitchcock's longevity is a testament to his ability to adapt his strategies across multiple eras of hockey, proving that defensive hockey, when executed properly, still wins championships. While he wasn't always the easiest coach to play for due to his high expectations, his ability to extract maximum effort from his players and his deep tactical knowledge make him one of the greatest defensive coaches in NHL history. 8. Punch Imlach, the architect of the Leafs' last dynasty. Before the Toronto Maple Leafs' infamous Stanley Cup drought, they were one of the NHL's most dominant franchises, and Punch Imlach was the mastermind behind that success. Coaching the Leafs for 12 seasons, he led them to 4 Stanley Cups in the 1960s, including a three-peat from 1962 to 1964. One of his boldest coaching moves was shifting Red Kelly, one of the league's top defensemen, to a forward role, a decision that played a pivotal role in Toronto's championship runs. Imlach wasn't just a great tactician. He was also a master motivator, known for his ability to push his players beyond their limits. His coaching philosophy revolved around tough, physical hockey. 7. Jack Adams, the NHL's coaching godfather. Few coaches have left a legacy as deep and long-lasting as Jack Adams. He was one of the most influential figures in hockey history, not only as a coach, but also as a general manager. The NHL's Coach of the Year award is named after him, a testament to his impact on the game. As the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings, Adams led the team to 3 Stanley Cups in the late 1930s and early 1940s, helping establish Detroit as one of the original NHL powerhouses. His influence didn't stop behind the bench. He later served as the Red Wings general manager for an NHL record 36 years, shaping the franchise for generations. Adams was also responsible for rebranding the Detroit Falcons into the Red Wings, creating one of the NHL's most iconic identities. While his coaching record alone is enough to secure his place on this list, his contributions to the league as a whole make him one of the most important figures in hockey history. 6. Jon Cooper, the modern mastermind. Jon Cooper's journey to NHL coaching greatness is anything but traditional. Originally a lawyer, Cooper's path to coaching started at the high school level before he climbed the ranks through junior hockey and the AHL. His rise to multiple deep playoff runs, 4 Stanley Cup final appearances, and back-to-back championships in 2020 and 2021. His coaching style revolves around a mix of adaptability, player trust, and tactical brilliance, allowing star players to thrive within a structured system. Number 5. Barry Trotz, the defensive genius. Barry Trotz has built a career transforming teams into defensive powerhouses and instilling a winning culture wherever he goes. Starting with the Nashville Predators, Trotz spent 15 seasons developing the franchise into a legitimate contender. But it was with the Washington Capitals in 2018 that he reached his peak, leading them to their first ever Stanley Cup and silencing years of playoff disappointments. Trotz is a 2-time Jack Adams Award winner, proving his ability to turn struggling teams into winners. His coaching philosophy is centered around tight defensive structures, aggressive forechecking, and physical, disciplined play. After his success in Washington, he revitalized the New York Islanders, transforming them into a hard-to-beat defensive juggernaut. Trotz's coaching style isn't always flashy, but it's effective, consistent, and built for deep playoff success. His 914 career wins place him among the top coaches in NHL history, and his ability to instill a defense-first identity in every team he coaches makes him one of the most influential defensive minds ever. Number 4. Al Arbour, the man who built the Islanders dynasty. Al Arbour took an expansion franchise and turned it into one of the most dominant dynasties in NHL history. When he became head coach of the New York Islanders in 1973, the team was only a year removed from its inaugural season. Within a few years, he transformed them from an irrelevant expansion team to a Stanley Cup powerhouse, winning 4 consecutive championships from 1980 to 1983. But perhaps even more impressive than the Cups themselves was the Isles' NHL record 19 consecutive playoff series wins, a feat that has never been matched. Arbour's teams were known for toughness, defensive discipline, and clutch playoff performances, and his 782 career wins solidify his place in NHL history. Unlike many other dynasty coaches, Arbour wasn't just handed elite talent. He helped build and develop it. He turned players like Mike Bossy, Brian Trottier, and Dennis Potvin into Hall of Famers, proving his ability to both coach and nurture championship talent. Arbour's ability to create a dominant system that thrived under pressure makes him one of the greatest dynasty builders in NHL history. 3. Joel Quenneville, the Blackhawks mastermind. Joel Quenneville, known simply as Coach Q, is one of the most successful coaches in NHL history, second only to Scotty Bowman in all-time wins with 969. His greatest achievement? Turning the Chicago Blackhawks into a modern dynasty, leading them to 3 Stanley Cup victories in 6 seasons: 2010, 2013, 2015. Under Quenneville, Chicago became one of the most balanced, well-coached teams in hockey, combining skill, speed, and defensive structure to dominate an entire era. His ability to manage superstar talent like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, while also developing key role players, made the Blackhawks an unstoppable force. Quenneville wasn't just a motivator. He was a master of in-game adjustments, constantly tweaking his strategies to keep opponents guessing. His deep understanding of matchups, defensive zone play, and transition offense made his teams dangerous in every situation. While his career ended in controversy due to his involvement in the Kyle Beach scandal, his coaching resume is still one of the most impressive in NHL history. Few coaches have been able to maintain success over multiple decades, but Quenneville did just that, solidifying his place among the greatest of all time. 2. Toe Blake, the Canadiens' dynasty leader, managed Hall of Fame talent, including Maurice Richard, Jean Beliveau, and Doug Harvey, turned Montreal into the most feared team in the league. What set Blake apart was his ability to evolve his coaching style. He balanced structured defensive play with explosive offensive tactics, ensuring that Montreal remained ahead of its competition for over a decade. Even as new generations of players came in, Blake found ways to keep winning, adapting to rule changes, roster turnover, and different playing styles. His career .634 winning percentage ranked number 1. Scotty Bowman, the GOAT of NHL coaching. There is zero debate about who the greatest NHL coach of all time is. Scotty Bowman stands alone. His numbers are simply untouchable. 9 Stanley Cups as a head coach, 1,244 career wins, and 2,141 games coached. His career stretched across 4 decades, and he built 3 separate dynasties. The Montreal Canadiens in the 1970s, the Pittsburgh Penguins in the 1990s, and the Detroit Red Wings in the late 1990s and early 2000s. His deep hockey IQ, unmatched adaptability, and ability to get the best out of every roster made him a true coaching legend. What makes Bowman unique is that he never relied on just one system. He evolved with the game, making strategic changes as the NHL modernized. His ability to coach both superstars and grinders with the same intensity allowed him to win in completely different eras of hockey. No coach has ever come close to matching his longevity, versatility, and sheer dominance. When it comes to NHL coaching, Scotty Bowman isn't just the greatest, he's in a class of his own. Now that we know who the best coaches are in NHL history, let's look at the worst coaches. 3. Wayne Gretzky, Phoenix Coyotes, 2005 to 2009. Wayne Gretzky may be the greatest hockey player ever, but his coaching career was an absolute disaster. Hired to coach the Phoenix Coyotes in 2005, Gretzky proved that elite playing skills don't always translate to the bench. His coaching record was an abysmal 143-61-24, and he never led the team to a single playoff appearance. The Coyotes lacked structure, defensive discipline, and any sense of identity under his leadership. Even worse, Gretzky didn't seem to have a real coaching philosophy, often making questionable lineup decisions and failing to adjust during games. His inability to develop young players or implement a winning system sealed his fate. After 4 painful seasons, Gretzky stepped away from coaching, never to return. While his legacy as a player is untouchable, his failed coaching tenure is a reminder that great athletes don't always make great leaders. 2. Ivan Hlinka. Ivan Hlinka was a coaching legend in international hockey, but his transition to the NHL was a complete disaster. Hired to coach the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2000, Hlinka faced a massive language barrier for the team to collapse under pressure. By early 2001, he was fired just 4 games into the season, proving that his coaching style simply did not translate to the NHL. While his international resume remains impressive, his brief and disastrous tenure in Pittsburgh secures his spot among the worst NHL coaches ever. Number 1. Ted Nolan. Ted Nolan's coaching career was filled with dysfunction, internal feuds, and complete franchise mismanagement. Despite winning a Jack Adams Award in 1997, his first stint with the Buffalo Sabres ended in disaster, with open conflicts between him and the team's front office. When he returned to Buffalo in 2013, things somehow got even worse. His team was built to tank, and he oversaw one of the worst rosters in modern NHL history. His leadership style alienated players, and his old-school approach felt outdated and ineffective. His second tenure ended with the Sabres posting a disastrous 23-51-8 record. While some argue he wasn't given a fair shot, the results speak for themselves. Ted Nolan's NHL coaching career is one of the most disappointing ever. There you have it. The best and worst NHL coaches in history. Do you agree with our rankings? Who's your favorite coach of all time? Let us know in the comments. For more legendary hockey stories, hit subscribe and check out our video on the dirtiest players of all time.